Hello, my friends, Joe right here. And as you're aware, I've been digitizing Super 8 home movies from the 1960s and early 70s. In addition, we had a box of videos that my wife and I, Lori, took in the early 1990s. We filmed. At some point, we didn't have a way of playing them anymore because it was like these little miniature tapes and we didn't have a tape player to play it. And so they sat in a box for some 30 plus years. And I had them digitized, and it was really amazing to see these videos from that time. But I found one from 1991 that I completely forgot about, that I filmed when I was in St. Louis. And it was visiting places that I absolutely loved as a teenager and as a child, so that I could always kind of carry that with me and reminisce about it. But I also visited three couples during that time that I absolutely loved as a teenager. They were a big influence on me and brought me so much happiness and confidence when I was a teenager at that time. Now, most of them have since passed away, but their sons and daughters and grandchildren are here, and I just want to share some of those memories and perhaps bring back some of those happy memories for them in addition to myself. Now, I want to emphasize my parents and my aunt and uncle were the major influences in my life. They were all kind, loving people. My stepfather, who I call father or dad, was an incredible man. They've both passed away since that time. And my aunt and uncle, which have both passed away, they were huge influences on me. My aunt and uncle taught me what a good marriage is and the importance of extended family, having them in your life. And I will always be grateful for them. So, not to take away from my parents and my aunt and uncle, these are three couples that were a huge influence on me. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started. And these are the video quality is really bad, but again, it brings back such happy memories, even though they're just small fragments of videos that just bring me a lot of happiness. Let's start right here before I show the video. This is the parents of my best friend, Harry Mobley Jr. and Jim Ryder. And these were guys that I really trusted that they had my back and were watching out for me all the time, and vice versa. Up to that time in my life, the friends that I had, I generally, looking back at it, they were frenemies. That sometimes they could be friends, and then other times they would stab me in the back. But Harry and Jim were incredible friends, and we would come over to Harry's house all the time. Harry Jr., his bedroom was back here, and we'd pull up in the driveway over here. And this was a very secluded house at the time on a big lot and on a private drive, and we absolutely loved it. This place was like our playground. We would spend hours hanging out in Harry's bedroom and just talking, laughing, and Kathy and Harry Sr. just absolutely loved having us over there. They respected our privacy, but they were so cool and loving. And they were just happy that we were there so that we weren't getting in any sort of trouble elsewhere. And we were good kids. We never did drugs, never did alcohol, no vandalism, just good, clean fun, generally speaking. I'll come back to that in just a minute. But they just really enjoyed having us there. Now, if I could describe Kathy and Harry Sr., is that they were just really cool and chill people. Harry Sr. has since passed away, but he always, both of them, always made me feel loved and welcome. Harry's Sr., he would make me laugh. He was a man of few words. Often what I'd hear him say about me, it was through other people. It always come back really positive, that he would laugh at the things that I did, but always have a positive spin to it. And I just felt so loved being around them. And their family, the brothers, their children just treated me with kindness and love also. And the cool thing about it is that we knew that they loved us and we loved them. And they had a Jeep. And they were the only couple, the only people I knew that had a Jeep at the time. And I just really thought that it cool. But when I would pull into this house, it was like pulling into a safe harbor after going through a very dangerous storm out at the sea. And it was just always a warm feeling when I pull up there. Every time I go to St. Louis, I will go and visit these homes that these three couples no longer live at, and just park my car and just look at their home and just feel the warmth that those homes bring me. This clip, the quality is really bad. The video, much of it was just static. I don't know what happened. Maybe a magnet influenced the video, but I just got small clips. But again, just it's so beautiful seeing them what was 34 years ago and seeing Harry again. It's just Harry Sr., just beautiful. And unfortunately, my voice, I hate listening to my voice. I apologize. I'm told I have a voice that would be better for print than recording. Anyway, here we go.
Oh, Harry, you love to have your picture taken, don't you? Oh, I'll have to pan this here. This is where we had our bottle rocket fight out here that one summer.
The kids still come out on the 4th of July and shoot the fireworks here. They shoot people, shoot them on the deck. Have you seen the backyard?
No, I haven't.
Back there for the land?
No, you gotta pull me back there?
Then he got wiring up through here.
Well, this is nice.
I have to pump some of the water off of it.
It helps to take the cover off, doesn't it?
I didn't look at Crocodile Dundee. I was looking at it. I thought, you got the cover.
So this next clip is the Ryder's home, and unfortunately they weren't home at the time, so I just filmed the outside of the house, and I came back later and I took this picture that you see right here. And again, it just incredible feelings when I pull up and look and visit their home. So Joan and Glenn Ryder, I got to know them through my other best friend Jim Ryder during high school. And Harry, Jim, and I were like the three amigos. And I would, when coming to this house, and I want you to see this, this picture right here I got from Google Street View. I made sure that it showed this portion of the street right here because this is where I'd park my car every time I would come up to their house. And when I would pull up to their house, I would feel such a spiritual warmth from this home coming on here. And Joan and Glenn Ryder, they've since both passed away. Whenever I would come to their house, they would always invite me into the home, just happy to have me there, which was so unusual for a teenager to experience anything like that. And they would laugh at my goofy teenage ideas and jokes. And Glenn was always giving me advice. And that advice I still remember today. And one advice in particular, I still regret that I didn't follow through. Actually, two advices that he gave me that I wish I would have taken it as advice and followed through with. But I really appreciated how they were like second parents to me. I had numerous sleepovers at this house. They invited me to dinners at their house, lunches for their house. They always made me feel happy and warm over here. Just two quick stories. Glenn Ryder had a Plymouth Fury, and it was the same car and color that the police department had there in Florissant, and actually most of the police departments at that time. And it was a very powerful car. Jim would drive us around in it, and one of the things that we would do is that we would, at nighttime, for kicks, we would pull people over acting like police officers. We would have a light that we would shine through our windshield and shine it on the car that was in front of us. They would pull over, we'd pull up next to them, start laughing and drive off. Now, at the time, we thought it was hilarious. As an adult, I know we could have gotten huge, huge trouble impersonating a police officer. And fortunately, we never got in too big a trouble. But one night, and this is what ended our activity as undercover police officers, is that Jim, his sister Judy, his younger sister Judy, and I, we were driving around. We pulled over a car. It happened to be filled with a bunch of teenage men that they looked like they were football players. All of them were big. The guy that was driving the car got out, walked towards us, pulled out his wallet, and started to pull out his driver's license, and saw that we were just these punks in the car. And Jim floored it, and we got out of there. He hopped back in his car and chased us for probably about 15 minutes through various neighborhoods. They wanted to beat the crap out of us. And we thought that we lost them, and we parked the car, and we were hiding, we were laying low on the seats. And all of a sudden we heard, and again, this was nighttime, a car slowly creep up next to us. I could hear the engine just kind of humming next to us. Jim and I were too scared to look over the window. Judy slowly crept up, looked over the window, and then crept back down. She goes, "They're there. They're outside." And we were like, "Oh crap." Jim jumped back into the driver's seat and floored it, and we got out of there. Eventually lost them. But that was the end of our bad activity. That we learned our lesson on that one. Just to share two stories, brief stories, with my experience with them, is that in high school, I had a friend, Tom Ray. He and I were planning a bicycle trip. I talked him into it. He said he wanted to go to Washington, D.C., so we were going to ride our bicycles from St. Louis to Washington, D.C. And I don't think he was ever serious about it. As the date was coming up, he goes, "Hey, I'm not going to do that. What do you think, I'm crazy?" And I was kind of disappointed. Jim was kind of hanging around with us, and he goes, "Hey, I'd like to go." And so he and I were talking, and we decided, hey, let's go where we want to go, since Tom's no longer involved in this. And we decided to go to Salt Lake City. And we were going to ride on the Mormon Pioneer Trail from Illinois, Nauvoo, Illinois. And we were going to go to Denver, Colorado, and then take a bus to Salt Lake so that we didn't have to ride through Rocky Mountains. And my parents were okay with it as long as Joan and Glenn Ryder were okay with it, and vice versa. They were okay with my parents. So both parents allowed us to do this trip. And we spent 2 weeks going across the United States, actually 10 days. And some days we would do 60, 70 miles. 2 days we did 150 miles each day. And each night we would ride into a little country town, ask the sheriff if we could spend the night in their jail, which they almost always did with two exceptions. And the other thing, this is Jim Ryder and this is me. We were getting ready to go canoeing at the Merrimack River. My father took the picture. He came down with us. And I was talking to Jim, hey, you know what would be really cool? Because I was always coming up with these lame brain ideas. Let's canoe on the Missouri River for like two days. And so we talked to my parents, which they were okay with it. We talked to the Ryders, they were okay with it. Joan Ryder drove us all the way to Herman, Missouri. It's a little German town in the Missouri River. We had our canoe on top of their Plymouth Fury. We hopped in the river, took off, and Joan, Glenn, and my parents met us 2 days later, Old Town St. Charles, where they picked us up. During the, keep in mind, the Missouri River is the longest river in North America. And it's just slightly longer than the Mississippi River. And there was barges going up and down on this that we would have to paddle around. We were always concerned about being tipped over by a barge wake. But that night there was a thunderstorm that came in. Lightning strikes were hitting all around us. And it was raining. We were worried. We were in a metal boat, aluminum boat. We were worried that we were going to be hit by a lightning bolt. So we immediately pulled over at a place that we would never pick for a campsite. It was a steep, muddy bank. We didn't even put our tent up because it was raining and we were just covered with mud. We just laid down on our backs in the mud and slept with mosquitoes and rain all over us that night. And the next morning we washed ourselves off in the Missouri River, and we canoed the rest of the way down to St. Charles, and that's where our parents picked us up. Again, what parents would do something like that? That's how cool the Ryder parents were. This is Harry and me. And then the next picture is Jim, me, and Harry. This is Cheryl Moore and Lisa Staniford here. But the three of us were the three amigos. In fact, if you look closely, we're all wearing these lumberjack shirts. We each one got a different color from the other, but that was what we would wear at the same time at school, we'd pick a day that we were going to wear our lumberjack shirts to school and hang out with each other. I guess it was our way of male teenage bonding. The Ryders weren't there at the time, and so I came back later and I didn't film our interaction, which I really regret, but I took a picture of them. But this house, again, the emphasis I want to put was such a warm experience. Every time I come to St. Louis, I will visit the 3 homes that I'm sharing with you at this time. Just park outside and just feel the warmth and the memories that these homes brought.
Ryder residence, and I just knocked on their door. It's my parents' car, and they're not home. But that was Julie's room right there, and Jim slept downstairs. And I'll try back later with him.
The last house here is Neal and Kay Lewis. And again, these 2 people were like second parents to me, all 3 of these couples. I was not such a great high school student. I hate studying. I hate preparing for tests. I didn't want to go to college. Neal, who was also our minister at our church that at a time, so we call him Bishop Lewis. Neal was just an incredible influence on me. I had no plans to go to college, and so he wanted me to go to college, and he would pull me aside and goes, Joe, I know you can do this. Just get your grades up. We'll see if we can get you in a college somewhere, but I think it would be a good experience for you. And one time he even met me in his office. Actually, I came over his house, and so that we could have some privacy, we went downstairs and we looked over my grades in high school, and it was pretty embarrassing. We talked about, applying for a scholarship. There was nothing outstanding that I did in high school that I could argue, even submit an application for a scholarship. But he kept on encouraging me, and which eventually I did go to college, and I am so glad that I did. It was a life-changing experience for me, and something I'll always be grateful to. One time I was dating a girl that I was kind of getting serious with, and I went over his house and I wanted to talk to him about this young lady that I was dating, and I thought that she might be marriage material, but I was a little afraid to tell her that, and so we talked about it. He listened, and then he kind of looked up at the ceiling briefly, and then he looked at me and goes, well, Joe, I think you should go to this young lady and just share with her the feelings that you have for her, and let's just see what happens. And so I did that, and she did not have the same feelings that I did. But I'm so grateful that he gave me the courage to approach that young lady and let me share my feelings with her. I just really appreciate it. Just a few years before he died, we kept in touch occasionally with phone calls and emails. And the last phone call that we had together, we were just reminiscing how beautiful our time was in St. Louis, because he was living in Spanish Fork at the time. And we were just talking about how wonderful those memories were. And one of the things that he would always tell me when I was a teenager, either at church or when I'd come over his house or something like that, he would always say over and over, Joe, I would be so proud to have you as a son of mine. And that just meant so much to me because he was such an incredible person. And him and Kay were just an incredible couple that I just really appreciated the warmth that they gave me when I would come over. And while we were talking on the phone just before he died, after we were finished talking and before we hung up, he said, Joe, I just want you to know that I would be proud to have you as my son. And then we exchanged one email after that, and he shared the same thought with me at that time. And that just really meant everything to me. Let's watch this clip just real briefly. Now, this was only it's like 5 seconds long. It's the only thing that survived with the digitizing. But you're able to see 34 years into the past, this incredible memory experiencing with her family. His wife was there, and his daughter Sheila came in the room too, which she was a teenager at the time. I didn't know her when I was a teenager because she was just a small child at that time. And the maturity that she had and the smile, she just jumped into the conversation, the confidence that she has. That tells you everything about the Lewis family, just how they instilled love and confidence in their children. So here we go. It's only about 5 seconds long.
5 years from now, these are going to be important for me to just to take a look. And I just can't believe how much your daughter looks like the trees. Graham, too. Yeah.
That's all survived of the video. But it means everything. I treasure greatly these small fragments of video clips. You know, I don't know if there's a life after this life. I used to believe that. As I get older, I don't know. I hope there is a life after this life, because I want to see these people again and give them a big hug for the things, what they instilled into me, the love, the patience, and being second parents. Anyway, I'll just end with that. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. Love you all. Joe.